So with the announcement of Borderlands 4, I wanted to give my thoughts and my wish list for Borderlands 4. And I think my viewpoints are going to differ a lot from other content creators because I played Borderlands 3 first and then 2. I haven't played any others in the series, so they look at the psycho mask and the person forcing it onto someone. This is very interesting to me because I think it's very obviously a mind control device with the eyes glowing red. So they're definitely evil. This seems to be a new enemy faction on a planet. Very exciting. I really didn't like Sanctuary on Borderlands 3, so a new planet, hopefully a new Sanctuary. Exciting. The enemy faction seems to be being led by this person. I just know that this boss is going to be very fun to fight with all the limbs, and then we pan out to the faction of the Timekeeper. I think that is what he is called. I don't remember where I saw that, but I could be very wrong. And his army is well organized, and they look very artificial. So he could be making robots like loaders from Borderlands. I really like the loaders, so this is a welcome addition if you can shoot off the arms or legs. Now we have him squashing a Psycho Mask, so if it wasn't obvious before, he's definitely not friendly with the other guys. I'll go out on a limb and say that he is going to be a friendly NPC at some point of the game on our side, or at least turn to our side. This is just a baseless speculation, because he looks like he would join our side for some reason, for some greater good of like stopping the others. They're charging a war at each other, so I wonder if our role is going to be helping him or a third party trying to stop the war. Then we see all of these cool locations. Now I don't really care much for Borderlands locations. They are very forgettable mostly. Except for Krieg's DLC. In his mind is so cool and weird. Especially with the duality of the whatever. So these seem fine, nothing horrible. But if this is the new Sanctuary, I'm going to blow a fuse. I just hate this place and I guarantee I'm going to fall off the sides a bunch. Now we see our Vault Hunters. Huge. I don't really want to say anything without seeing their action skills and voice lines. They look like Vault Hunters, very standard. Siren, Tech Bros, I think Mech Girl and Buff Dude. Nice additions. I really hope that they give us more characters in the DLCs. I really like that when I played 2 for the first time, we got like 2 more. Variety in a game like this just goes a really long way. We see the guns. Now I don't really want to say a lot because I have a bunch of stuff I want to say in the wishlist section. But they look like Borderlands 3 weapons, which is great. I loved Borderlands 3 weapons, so let's skip that for now. And the car. Holy moly. Did you just see her digistruct that car from nowhere? I just hate having to go to like car stations in a planet that is barren except for like 2 towns. This really makes me happy, if it's true. Zane, my main guy. Me and the clone, we killed the gods together. So, my first Borderlands character, and he is coming back already. Great. The rest is cool. Some enemy types are shown. And the grapple hook. This grapple hook is probably going to be a huge letdown in traversal. You need to aim it at these things, it seems, and half of the fun of a grapple hook in a game is the freedom of movement it gives the character, which side do you want to swing, what way you want to go, and this is just too restrictive. I feel like a level to level traversal mechanic instead of a general like boss fight mechanic or a kind of fucker around mechanic. But it does make sense in the Borderlands. I do think these maps with all the verticality do look like they could use it pretty well. Looking forward to that. Now, onto my wish list. On my wish list are the weapons in BL3. I loved it, but if they could bring back the same weapons, I wouldn't be too angry. But I like gimmick guns in Borderlands 3. I find the wackiest gun ever, but it's just not viable on endgame. So if they could like scale them higher so you could use them in endgame, it would be hilarious. I understand it's end game, so only a few select weapons get to, like, take the edge off others, but using the same 5 legendaries because nothing really else competes just doesn't make sense. And anointments. I love anointments. Grinding for gear is so part of this game, is just like, part of the soul of this game, for at least to me. Grinding for legendaries with my brothers, that's almost half the playtime I have on this game, I swear. Trying to get a perfect plasma coil, getting a perfect light show. And on number 2 on my wish list is a new element. Slag in BL2 was kind of fun, but I didn't really use it much, to be honest. But a new element would be fun. Like, I got this idea from this guy in the trailer, but it's like sound booms or like sonic attacks. These could even be a grenade specific element, but will do very little damage, but it knocks back enemies really far. So this would be great for like these stupid ass enemies hitting you all the time. So boom, knock them back. This would be really viable on a dual element like Maliwan gun, where you switch to sonic, boom them back, switch back to fire, and then just shred away. This would add a lot of variation, and imagine all the stuff you could do with the hitting enemies off cliffs and stuff. Number 3 is dedicated drops. Now, I didn't play these games when they first came out, so when I played, all the updates were basically already done, and they had dedicated drops. But I can't imagine a world without dedicated drops in a Borderlands game. And if you're a fan, this doesn't really need any more explanation. Just Gearbox, you can't fuck this up. Just dedicated drops on day 1, so we can farm. Anyway, number 4 is, I don't know if I can just ask for this, but I mean, it is my wish list after all. A wish, probably not gonna happen, is a great story for the base game, but here's the interesting part. Different dialogue or different endings for different characters. So if you play as like the buff guy, for example, you get a different ending playing as the Siren, for example. This increases the replayability so much more, even more than it is now. This is a pipe dream, so plus it is kind of finalized if they gave us a trailer and everything. But just imagine you fight a different end boss for every character in the roster, so that would have me very hyped. But I do understand how this would make a mess with the lore, but you could make it work. But this would be so much more work for the developers, so instead they'll give us the option to this would really be so much more work for the developers for little to no payoff. And number 6, I think, is no max level characters. You can just make a max level character, and what is the point if you can just... What's the point of replaying the game with a new character? You have no like emotional investment in your character, and low-key makes the game worse because you just have all the skill points and you didn't experiment at all throughout the whole game. Number 6, let us make a gun. Just a very obscure quest line that pops up after you finish the game, and a max level character, but by the end of the quest the player gets to make their own weapon. You should be able to combine any parts of any gun, so by the end of it you get a super unique weapon. If you choose, could be very busted depending on the parts you pick, and I think this could be really cool. It would be a really awesome way of having a personal weapon filled in a game filled with billions of guns that are procedurally generated. No hate, but human touch and everything. But one gun per character that you can never trade with anyone else, not even your other characters. So it's really like important what you put in the game, in the gun. Last thing is more to do on a single planet. Like in BL3 I would go to a new planet and it's like do 1 or 2 missions there, unless you're doing a bunch of side missions, and it's like deep as an ocean, wide as a puddle. Wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. And the DLCs are great, so whoever made those can just make this one, especially the Clusterfuck and the Bounty of Blood. Those were really fun, especially with the maps, like Western Japanese mix. Amazing. I know I said that was the last one, but really quickly, the characters standing around just saying nothing, Just get rid of that. Give us the mission objective before they even start talking, and then they can just talk on the echo log. There's no reason to be standing around doing nothing. Unless you're trying to farm more player time, but that makes no sense in a game where you spend hours grinding, so you don't need the time gearbox. Just give us the objective on the thing, and then you can have Lilith rant on the echo as I run to the objective of, or Claptrap ranting on about something I don't care about.